Lil Durk's lawyers have just filed paperwork for case dismissal due to a massive mistake by the prosecutors against him. It was announced Lil Durk has filed a new motion to dismiss based on the vagueness of the second superseding indictment. In the alternative, if it is not dismissed, he requests a bill of particulars which specify the coded language used, the nature of the bounty, the date, audience, and circumstance. In the paperwork, Durk's lawyers are asking the prosecutors to show the evidence where Lil Durk gives his offer for the bounty of Quando Rondo. They want to know what the reward or opportunity that Durk offered members for the crime to be done. They want to know the date and time of when Durk offered it. In a typical court case, all of this would have been shared by now. However, the prosecutors aren't giving it up, making Durk's lawyers believe they don't even have the evidence against him. However, this led into bad things for Lil Durk. Durk was taken into solitary confinement indefinitely after a CO discovered a cell phone in his jail cell. Before Durk was taken into solitary, someone tried to get him, with it reported. Durk was involved in an altercation inside jail this morning, which resulted in Lil Baby tweeting, "I don't care about nothing else other than Durk right now. Free the bro." As the streets link this to the crime of Durk's homie, Glee, passing away in Chicago, which means members were targeted and raised the question of who would want revenge. All leads currently point to Quando Rondo and his team wanting to get revenge cause Durk is currently facing crimes for the hit on Quando's friend Lil Pab. And coincidentally, on the same day that someone tried to take out Lil Durk, Wando and Lil Tim released interviews that same day. Rather than being hateful towards Durk for taking out their friend, they say they wish it was handled in a different way. But some fans believe this is just a front to make them look good to the feds, as these are two well-known ops of Lil Durk and suddenly they're praising him, but many believe they acted fast on trying to take out Durk because he might get released soon. A new report shared, words from Durk's father have Durk being released on bond. With this being his third attempt, his lawyers made an offer so great the judge can't refuse it. The prosecutors have begun dropping some of the evidence they were using against him. The news wrote, Durk's court hearing had the prosecutors telling the judge they are willing to throw away evidence against Durk, but they read it out loud in court before dismissing it. I wonder how this affects the rest of his bond hearing, as this included the lyric evidence of Durk rapping. Told me they got an addy, they got the location, go look on the news, see your son screaming no as it relates to this news report and Quando yelling no on the sidewalk. But this was a corrupt way to drop the evidence. Rather than dismissing it quietly, they said it in front of everyone to make a worse impression of Durk, which led to Charleston White reacting. Charleston hates the idea of Durk being released, but a professional lawyer gave his thoughts on the prosecutors dropping evidence. Without a doubt, this helps Durk's case. However, we heard from Durk's official lawyer, Drew, as he said the charges are a joke. However, the judge would deny Durk's bond attempt. As the feds say, Durk would need to go completely broke and give up all of his property to be granted bond. They fear he might use his fortune to place bounties on witnesses. However, a fan that's deep into the case tweeted, "If you think Durk was denied bond because he's rich, you know nothing about this case. Day's brother just snitched on all of them. Instead of making it public, they're hiding it to catch Durk's lawyers by surprise." As the evidence of Day's brother Ted snitching is pretty concerning. With it reported, the Ted body cam footage of him begging to snitch against Durk and members changed this case. Lil Durk's lawyers submitted paperwork for an extended time on their bond proposal, which makes people wonder, what did Ted say to the feds? Cause if you didn't know, Ted is D's brother and D is Durk's main hitter. So, the guy that would have been involved in nearly every crime has his brother talking to the cops. The only reason they even have him is because Hugh was caught with a firearm in his pocket. As they quickly arrested Ted and took him to the police station. Typically, you would think members of F would hold it down and not say anything to the cops. But Ted wasn't like that, because the moment he was let out of the cop car, he was begging to snitch as he told the officer, "I swear I'll tell you all about the passings." As he hoped to not be placed into jail, but it was too late. With Ted placed in the waiting cell, Hugh waited until an officer came to collect information from him. Ted just wanted to rat on the members he knows of and get out of jail. Although there was some confusion with the court paperwork. Fans noticed that his last name was in the paperwork, so they thought it was him snitching. But we now know that it was Ted snitching because with them being brothers, they have the same last name. But there was news of Ted's cousin Vonnie snitching in the case, which had Durk's friend be trying to calm everyone down. But realistically, it only gets worse. Academics did an interview with Vonnie's dad and said Durk had involvement in the passing of King Von. Initially it sounds crazy that Durk would want this, although you have to remember that Van and Durk faced a criminal case together that was ongoing when Van passed. After Van passed, it ended in a private settlement, meaning that Durk likely placed the blame on Van since he was gone. That King Von was also starting to outgrow Lil Durk, which could have caused some jealousy, but Vonnie's father said more on it. This is when a tweet revealed Vonnie's dad leaking that Durk had Von dealt with Makes me wonder why Durk goes on IG Live when he's connected to someone passing. He went on live the minute when Von, Lil Pab, and FBG Duck passed away, which makes fans believe that Durk uses Instagram Live as an alibi because he can tell the feds he wasn't involved because he was live streaming. However, Vanny's dad was mad that his son switched to the feds. It was tweeted, Vanny's father reveals Vanny allegedly orchestrated Lil Pab and King Van's passings. Vanny's dad is from the streets where if someone snitches you can snitch on them, and is why he's calling out his son. Even Durk's sister-in-law confirmed it. She calls King Von's cousin Vanny a rat and snitch, although the feds are worried Durk can witness tamper with anyone that has evidence on him cause he's charged with having people dealt with and are worried he can do it again. The feds are actually worried he already took care of someone cause it was reported. Has anyone heard from Jam after he snitched on Durk? Several F members are gone, but he's been gone for months as DJ Vlad outed Jam for being a snitch on his show. As a report followed this up by saying, Jam found by members hiding in a crib outside Atlanta. Sources claim Jam was punished for snitching on Durk, as this came with a photo of where Jam had been staying. The reason Jam got caught was because he gave evidence to the feds. Over 230 gigs of digital evidence, which includes audio recordings, video surveillance, and 20,000 pages of reports, which are all being processed for discovery, as Jam supplied them with the evidence. This led into the feds trying to charge Durk with 2 more M for hires. The feds believe Durk paid to get these people dealt with. Number 1 is Stefan Mack, who took out Durk's brother, Dang. Number 2 is Jam's baby mama. As Durk heard that Jam was wearing a wire and retaliated, feds think Jam is the key to putting Durk in jail for all 3 crimes. Fans look back in old streams to see if Jam was ever acting weird, which led to this Instagram clip which looks like he has a wire in his jacket as he's constantly holding it and messing with it. And when you look into Durk's interviews, you come across this clip which insinuates that Durk knew of someone snitching around him. As Durk spoke further into the interview that had tightened up his security, he stopped letting anyone but his family go to his house at this point as he was worried about having a rat near him. What's sad for Lil Durk though is that Durk constantly looked out for Jam. Like this time he gave him $50,000 to help him get a place to live. The feds investigated those in the background of that IG Live. They are the same people who took out Lil Pab and they used to shop with King Von back in the day, making it look like this was a clear revenge for Van's passing. However, for the evidence they have that Durk was involved with Stefan Mack is that he posted this on Instagram story 30 minutes after the crime went down. As he says it's for his brother, Dang. He even posted this Instagram live the next day where he laughs. Although academics got an interview with Durk's lawyer and asked him if they would entertain a plea deal. But Durk's lawyer insists they want to prove Durk 100% innocent. And we heard from more lawyers that Durk's lawyers can bring up the First Amendment as they'll tell the feds that Durk says whatever. He wants to further his music career as the more drama he creates, the more attention his music gets. And lawyers are convinced it looks good for Durk. We haven't seen any hard-hitting evidence against Durk and they believe he might be released like Young Thug was. Something that could help Durk in his case too is that prosecutors don't really know rap culture. However, the feds do know that a lot of artists are linked with each other. Because we heard news that a new snitch entered the case, prosecutors delayed Durk's chance of being released on bond to gather last-minute evidence against him for the next hearing. Chatter of a new snitch is going around the courtroom. This is likely because of Brick Baby's arrest because the week before this announcement happened, it was reported Big U, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, and others all arrested in a Ralaland 60s takedown. As it was shared, lawyers and sources believe Brick Baby, who was arrested in the latest takedown, will snitch on rapper Durk. The timings of both arrests make lawyers believe the feds will force Brick Baby to give everything up on Durk. When you look into Brick Baby's past, you realize he could be involved or know something. As he announced 3 years ago when Lil Pab was taken out that people can't say Durk didn't slide for Von, implying that Brick Baby knew immediately that Durk had something to do with Lil Pab's passing. As they'll try to link Brick Baby to the lyrics of Durk. Saying told me they got an attic baby says he would have dropped Quando. Rondo's location if Durk had asked this. Has the feds wondering if it was Brick Baby who leaked Rondo and his team's location to Durk to commit the crime that ended Lil Pab.